Okay, looks like some quick updates about the Mavic Pro shipment going on its way back to the DJI support to fix the gimbal. According to this, as of taping this anyways, it seems like the shipment is in Seattle. So again, it seems like it's going pretty smoothly. And it seems like the ETA is this coming Tuesday. So yeah, it should be pretty quick to get there. Just depends on what's actually going to happen like during the process. I'm still curious if everything's going to be covered and everything like that. I noticed DJI, I believe it's DJI anyways, made a public reply about it, so hopefully it will get handled. It'll be kind of interesting to see what the actual issue was. I don't know if they ever share that information like when they do repairs or exchanges. It was interesting reading one of your comments too, because one of you guys said you also experienced the same gimbal issue, like you freaked out when the gimbal like looked straight down, you thought the actual Mavic was falling down or something like that. And because of, I guess, the drone laws here in Canada, or the proposed ones that might potentially come out, you're afraid to send it to support because there'll be too much downtime. You might lose your opportunity to fly it in general if the laws become like even more ridiculous. But about the thought of not being able to fly at all, I guess later on, like if the laws become ridiculous, it made me think the opportunities I will be missing, unfortunately, since I don't have the drone anymore, like for now. I guess I won't be able to do that Eclipse capture like the test, so that's a little unfortunate. I guess I'll rely on all of you guys, I guess, whoever's going to capture the Eclipse footages. I look forward to seeing it. But even without the drone, I was trying to think if there is any place I can go to just to, I don't know, experience the Eclipse, because it's supposed to be really rare, correct? Kind of made me bump into like these articles, funny enough, where apparently there's a lot of scams going on with the solar eclipse, where people are selling fake sunglasses, so they won't actually protect people's eyes, so if they actually stare at the sun, it's actually really bad. It's kind of unfortunate, because I was even reading how there were people that I guess bought a whole whack of solar eclipse sunglasses to give away to the public, but now they don't want to give it away because they're afraid it's fake and they don't want to be responsible for, you know, hurting people's eyes. I even heard from some people, they said the way they enjoy the eclipse is they actually, I don't know, they project it somehow like onto a wall, so they look at the wall which has that projection of the sun basically getting darker and darker. I don't know how well this camera would actually film a solar eclipse. It might be too bright. I might try it. Yeah, again, it's just a matter of trying to find a place to go. For drones, I actually read this one piece of news that I was actually interested in. It made me think of things like drone privacy and all that, even though it's not directly related, but kind of. It was about, in a US prison, apparently they arrested 3 people because they found like the drone was dropping, I guess, drugs and cell phones in a prison yard. So because they heard of that, obviously they investigated, and I guess whoever it was, they busted them. It just kind of made me think about that issue about like the privacy and all that, where people say like, I don't know, I'm being filmed. Like even I said, like most of the cameras on the drones are like more wide lens, so you have to be really close to someone to like spy. Like in this case, you can even hear it, for example, like these correctional officers or whatever. Imagine someone trying to do that in general, like to take spy pictures of you or whatever in a really close way. Because to my understanding, that's still the main hysteria with the drones, is the quote privacy, where in my opinion is just overblown for the most part. Again, try spying to someone really close with something like that with all that noise and pretend I don't hear anything. What's going on? So that kind of leads into one of the questions you guys sent me. Basically, you were saying how, like for myself, I primarily do things like aerial videos, which is what I bought the drone for anyways. And you said I've been quite vocal about the drone laws, so you're curious what I think anyways about freestyle aerobatic type of flying. Generally speaking, on that note, I made a video about that already before, about the people banning like aerobatic maneuvers, or the proposed ones anyways, about the laws. In general, I feel if you're doing it safe, open area, nobody there and all that, then why not? I mean, to me, it's no different, honestly, than people playing baseball or anything like that. I mean, it's what's in the odds of something can happen. It's kind of like with that story I read before that I talked about, where about the parents wanted to ban all the model aircrafts around like the playground area and all that. Well, I think like in that case, maybe it's too close, but at the same time, like if I look hard enough, I guarantee I'll find like accidents in playgrounds. Like, does that mean we should ban playgrounds? Like again, like there should be like common sense. Like what are the odds of something like that happening? And is that enough to stop people from doing something like that? Otherwise, I feel in many ways it just gets ridiculous. It would be kind of like saying no one should ever go outside, touch anything or anything like that because there's germs everywhere. We should all just stay inside a tube or something like that. Now, you actually showed me a video here where you're actually flying like pretty crazy, like in terms of acrobatic stuff. Like I say crazy in the sense of speed. I don't mean crazy in the sense of, oh my God, you're so dangerous. But yeah, you're just saying that is how you typically fly. I guess like a person like yourself, like, you know, open field safe. And you're kind of questioning, should something like that be illegal? because if the proposed law comes in, basically you're saying this would be entirely illegal, even though there's nobody there or anything like that. For me personally, like overall, I don't think it should be illegal, like just generally speaking, just because of I think it's safe. And by that too, I mean like in a large part, in comparison to everything else we're allowed to do, whether it be like throwing a baseball on a field and all that, I think the drone is just as safe, if not safer. I would say there's more odds you'll get extremely hurt if someone throws a baseball really hard and it hits you, like even like say in the stomach. It probably does more pain than the drone, like the one that you're using, I'm assuming. I mean, I would say even if there was people there, if people are okay with it and you have the safeguards, let's say a really basic propeller guard, then I don't see why not. I guess it just depends on the mindset, because a lot of people that are not around tech and so forth, they just rely on what they see in the media, and that's really distorted. So they need something that they can relate to, in my opinion. Actually, here's like a studio test of how this camera would if I face it directly in the sunlight, as if there was a eclipse coming, I guess. Would that be a good simulation effect? I'm trying to think of the examples where people would still say like, no, it should still be illegal because for whatever reason. The only points I can think of on top of my head, which most people would say there is, okay, just because you're the responsible guy doesn't mean everyone else is gonna be. So they shouldn't make it legal for you because whatever, 1,000 or 1,000,000 other people may be flying it into the roads and the cars, and we just can't have that risk. Or kind of with the other example, it's kind of ridiculous I thought anyways, but what if, like say, I don't know, an emergency helicopter lands and your drone just happens to run into it and then it crashes, causing an explosion and everything like that. I mean, those are the kind of the two things that I've kind of heard of in general that people would say, like even though you're in that area, it's empty, hey, what if? Thinking for myself too, even if I didn't fly a drone, like because of my background is mostly in things like tech and arts and all that stuff, like I'm personally comfortable with it. If I see people flying like a little tiny drone or anything like that, I'd be like, wow, cool, let me see how it works. I want to understand the mechanics of it, what can you do with it, so I appreciate it. But I can easily see for people who are not into like that kind of stuff, they just think of like the other end, like the extreme end of the safety issue, because they don't use it, it doesn't affect them, then why even let that chance of something happening? And so again, I think the conversation of that, like as opposed to saying like, should this be illegal, like it's perfectly safe, it should be more about like, what exactly can people who fly it, like doing acrobatics, something like that, do to educate people? Kind of makes me wonder too, since you asked me that question, it makes me curious to ask, do you feel like, as a person who flies things like to do acrobatic maneuvers for fun, like to race and all that, do you feel what you do is making like an impact in terms of trying to show a person who doesn't fly, like say that kind of stuff, to show like, hey, it's perfectly safe, we're just having fun, just like anyone else doing any kind of sport per se? I even said before, I mean, in terms of flying drones and stuff like that, for people who don't, what the heck is this? believe the guy told me that was for the show Exorcist before. I was actually wondering if that pipe was gonna burst when I walked by because you can feel the heat and everything coming right out of it. Okay, let me try to recollect my thoughts here so I don't repeat myself. Basically, it comes down to like, do you feel as a person who flies just for tricks and maneuvers, do you feel what you do resonates with the average person who doesn't fly a drone? Like, can they look at it and say like, wow, like I can relate why this should be legal and all that to do? But yeah, it raises a kind of an interesting question in my mind anyways, like do you feel what you're doing is actually good and effective in terms of raising that awareness? Because I personally feel anyways like people creating videos and all that is effective to get that emotional attachment. So it's kind of interesting to hear what others would say about doing things just for acrobatics and all that. I know for a person like myself, for example, it's really easy to show, like even if I didn't fly the drones again, like just fly it around, do some cool moves, and to me that's enough to say like, well yeah, why should this be banned or illegal? It's almost no different than someone else doing, I don't know, like again, throwing a ball or something like that, which I think the ball is actually more dangerous, like a hard baseball or even like a hockey puck or something like that. I don't know, maybe that's what you guys need too. More cool videos of drones doing acrobatic moves and everything like that. I've never been to an event where people actually like cater to me to allow me to try to like film or document it in that way, like have my drone fly above it and all, but I think maybe that's necessary. Because would you believe, like if I told you, for example, in terms of the awareness, it seems like most people who've never seen the drone footage before, like they've actually become more aware of it because of the hiking trips I did or the other events I've done. So again, I think that's what it relates to. Like people need to see how it is like in everyday life on something they can relate to, not just like, you know, people who are tech savvy or model aircraft savvy or whatever you want to call it. It has to kind of like connect with everybody. I can't do much at the moment currently for the drone capture since I don't have the drone obviously, but it kind of made me think if there's anything else I should be doing to try to expand to like, I guess, more people on how to like reach them, to educate them, because I think again in many ways it's necessary, and from my experience it wasn't like drone tech talks for the most part that did stuff like that. It's more about just going out there exploring things and then people can see things that they relate to, like the type of scenery, the animals. So yeah, I'm trying to look for more stuff to do like that. Weird. It's like some idiot put his cigarettes there or something. That's from.
Probably a cigarette smoke or something.
So I don't even see a cigarette or anything on there.
I like
Okay. I'll go. Alright, I told one of the workers in the building, so hopefully they don't let it burn down. Anyways, see you guys later.